Hello, and welcome to Beyond Books, where we talk about books and beyond. I'm your host. I'm Renee. Co-host is outside today, so she won't be with us for this video. You'll have to catch her next time. But today I'm here with a book review, and it's not going to be a very lengthy one. Once I've done that, if you have a few minutes to stick around, I'm planning to show my diamond painting, and the one I'm talking about is the really, really big one. I think I've shown it once or twice previously on my channel, and it's completed now. It's framed and it's hanging on the wall. It looks great, and I also have a few other things to talk about. Like I say, none of it will take very long, so again, if you can stick around, that would be awesome. Now, the book that I'm reviewing today is Count My Lies by Sophie Stava. And let me tell you my history with this book, because it's kind of interesting. This book was a Book of the Month choice for March of 2025. Now, I did not select it as my choice. Instead, I selected actually this book, Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaughey, which I liked very much. And I did a full review of this last month, and I'll leave a link in my description. So, how did I get a Book of the Month edition of this book? Well, I found this in a library sale about 2 weeks ago or so. Someone apparently got it from Book of the Month and dropped it off for resale, seems like pretty quickly. In fact, I mentioned that in my April TBR video, and some of you actually said, wow, I wonder if that's because it's not a very good book. Someone seemed to want to get rid of it pretty fast. And I found that to be true myself, but for a couple of bucks, I was willing to take a chance. So this was actually my second choice to Wild Dark Shore for March Book of the Month selection. So I figured, why not? Okay, now hold that thought while I do my review. So this book starts out with the narrator, Sloane, who is a female in her late 20s, and she meets a man whose name is Jay, and he is at the park at the time with his daughter. Now, Sloane kind of likes to tell little lies that, seem pretty harmless, such as lying about what profession she's in, her name, how and where she grew up, things of that nature. And she finds out that Jay is married, and she's somewhat disappointed because she kind of had her eye on him. But she still wants to know more about him and his wife, Violet. So she makes excuses to continue to be at the park around the same time of day, and eventually gets hired on as a nanny to the little girl that they have, and her name is Harper. So the first 150 or so pages are all from Sloane's perspective, as she kind of ingratiates herself into this family and spends more and more time with them. Well, of course, she also starts to see little clues that the family may not be quite as perfect as they first seem. Now, the little clues that are dropped, I can't say they aren't intriguing. They are, just enough to kind of keep you on the hook, keep you reading. So now, once we get a good basis for what Sloane is thinking, and we get to kind of a critical juncture, let's say, with the story, it switches over to Violet's perspective. And she has her own agenda. And we start to see that develop. It almost reaches fruition when we then switch to Jay's perspective. And now, when we're here and we finally get to Jay's perspective, this is probably the most interesting part of the book. It's right near the end. There's maybe a chapter or two left at that point. Now, basically, at this point, everyone in the book has an agenda. Everyone's been lying to everyone, and there is a bit of suspense as we kind of unravel, exactly what has happened between all three of these characters. So that's about all I can really tell you without putting out a bunch of spoilers, which I really don't want to do. In some ways, there's really not that much more to the story. It's pretty basic. I found that there were a lot of places where it was a bit too simplified. I can think of several spots along the way where, the things would never have happened the way that they're explained in the story. I just don't think you would get away with what these characters did. For instance, the little girl in the story, Harper, is 5 years old. Now, all 5-year-olds do is ask questions, and they really like to tattle. They love to tattle, actually, and if they even think they have a secret, they'll blab it everywhere. So, no, I don't think that all those lies would have worked the way that they did in her presence. I'm sure, because she would have said something. There's just, too many things that are kind of like conveniences to the story along the way. So, how would I rate this book? Well, it has 3.76 stars on Goodreads, and it has a 3.8 on Amazon, which are decent ratings. But I just cannot justify anything above, say, a 3 to a 3.2 for this book. It is average at best. As far as recommendations, I would say maybe it's a decent beach read for some people, or a summer vacation read, where you read for a few days while you're away, and then when you come back, you don't really have time to finish right away, and it's maybe a few more days or maybe even a couple of weeks before you pick up the book again and finish it. That's fine, because it really doesn't have a very intricate plot anyway. So you could probably do that with this book. Much of the book focuses on things like, them cooking together, or what they're wearing, or just a sequence of events like, they eat dinner, they're starting the child's bath, they're putting the child to bed, those kinds of things. And, it's marginally interesting at best, and really doesn't do that much to advance the plot. So maybe now we know why. It was already in a library sale, but I, for one, am glad I didn't spend more on it, and I'm glad I took the chance on Wild Dark Shore instead, because, it's just better in every way, in my opinion. So that's the book review. Now let me say a couple of more things. First, today was my 1-year follow-up MRI following my breast cancer diagnosis. And I already have the results. My doctor's great, and already got the results to me, and there was no evidence of active disease, or, to put it another way, I'm cancer-free. So I was very pleased about that. The reminder now, it just reminds me to say this, reminder to everyone to get your yearly diagnostic screenings done. Whatever is recommended for you, it's very important. My cancer was first discovered on a routine mammogram, and it was caught early. And, if you're going to have cancer, that's what you want. So be sure to take care of your follow-ups. And next, I wanted to say that Donna and I went to see Melissa Etheridge in concert on the 14th of April, and she is unbelievable. We've seen her 5 times. This was the 5th. And she is just an incredible performer. Her voice is beautiful. She played 5 different guitars during the show. She played piano and harmonica, and she even played the drums. She's in her 60s, and she kept right up with the drummer. She still got a lot of great energy, and it was just a very nice evening. So very enjoyable. Also, last week I saw an exhibit at a local museum of Michelangelo drawings. These are sketches of how he planned to lay out his work in the Sistine Chapel, and even some letters that he wrote related to his work in the chapel. And it was very cool. They had large murals with scenes from the Sistine, and then the drawings that went along with those. So you could see what he had sketched out and what the mural actually ended up to look like once it was completed. Now, all the drawings and letters in this display were original. They were all done by Michelangelo himself, and some have never been on display in the U.S. previously, so it was very interesting. So now I'm going to take you over to the sunroom and show you my artwork. I'm not Michelangelo, but hey, I do what I can. So come on over and let me show you. So this is the painting. It has 62,220 little tiny drills, little plastic drills. They're also called diamonds that I put on there to decorate it with. And it is 30 inches wide, and it's 20 inches high. So yeah, we just really like it in this room. It gave it a lot of, sorry about the glare, gave it a lot of color, and yeah, just really, really looks great. This frame is just a frame from IKEA. I'd like to get a better one someday for it, but it looks great in that one for now. So yeah, I want to thank you all for watching, and if you are not subscribed, please do so. If you liked my content, please give this video a thumbs up, and have a great rest of your day. Take care.